Hello, my beautiful family, and welcome back to Mr. Paul's Stories. I'm your host, Mr. Paul, and it's such an honor to start this Monday with all of you. Today, I want to wrap each of you in a prayer filled with love. May your hearts be embraced by unwavering peace, your homes overflow with joy and laughter, and your lives be blessed in ways you never imagined. May every tear be replaced by a smile, every challenge transform into a victory, and every dream in your heart bloom into something truly magnificent. Remember, you are deeply loved, cherished, and never alone. I'd love to know how you feel about our time together. Are you happy with my efforts? Please let me know, because I'm always here for you. And now, let's take a moment to see who's with us today. Drop a comment saying, "I'm here, family," and tell me where you're watching from. I especially want to hear from my family in the USA and the Caribbean. Let's see how many of you are joining us on this fresh new Monday. Once we've connected, we'll dive right into today's story. Thank you for being here, and let's make this Monday unforgettable. On a crisp Monday morning at Evercrest Solutions, Tessa Monroe's heart pounded as she stepped into the office for her first day. Dressed in a carefully chosen outfit and armed with hope, she navigated bustling corridors, determined to make a strong first impression. Yet fate had other plans. Rushing to her new desk, Tessa collided with the refreshment station, sending a cascade of hot coffee splattering across her blouse and the pristine office floor. Flushed with embarrassment, she excused herself and sought refuge in a quiet conference room to change. With trembling fingers, she swapped out her stained blouse for a spare, unaware that the room's door was about to swing open. In that very moment, Dorian Hayes, the charismatic CEO of Evercrest Solutions, stepped in. His eyes widened in surprise as he took in the scene. A determined young woman in mid-transformation, amid scattered papers and a lonely stapler perched on a desk. Before anyone could break the awkward silence, the stapler tumbled off its perch. Instinctively, Tessa lunged and, almost comically, sent it sliding in Dorian's direction. With a raised eyebrow and a small, amused smile, Dorian caught the office supply, his mind racing between reprimand and an unexpected admiration for her spirited, if clumsy, reaction. In that brief, surreal encounter, words were few. Instead, an unspoken connection sparked between them, a blend of vulnerability, humor, and quiet intensity. As Dorian stepped away and Tessa reassembled her composure, neither could foresee how that chaotic moment would alter the course of their lives. For Tessa, it was a day of spilled coffee and unintended revelations. For Dorian, it was the glimpse of a soul unafraid to rise after a fall, a first chapter in a story neither would ever forget. Barely had the echoes of her disastrous first day faded when Tessa Monroe's life at Evercrest Solutions took an astonishing turn. Mere weeks into her tenure, an unexpected summons from Human Resources left her both nervous and curious. In a confidential meeting filled with hushed excitement, she learned she had been promoted to marketing director, a decision that sent ripples of shock and speculation through the office. Colleagues whispered in corridors, some admiring her bold ascent, others skeptical of such a meteoric rise. The new role was both exhilarating and daunting. With every passing day, Tessa juggled high-stakes projects and intense presentations while fighting an undercurrent of self-doubt. Amid the office's buzz, one constant figure emerged, Dorian Hayes, whose unexpected encounter with her had long since stirred his interest. Recognizing a rare spark of determination, Dorian began mentoring Tessa. Their late-night work sessions became arenas of candid conversation, where ideas flowed freely and ambitions were nurtured with honest advice. Over shared cups of coffee and long, thoughtful discussions, a bond developed that blurred the lines between strict professionalism and something more personal. Dorian's seasoned insight and Tessa's fresh perspective began to merge, fostering an environment where creativity and resilience could thrive. While office gossip swirled like autumn leaves, Tessa found herself inspired by not only the new title, but also the unexpected trust placed in her by a leader known for his unyielding standards. In this challenging yet invigorating phase, Tessa learned that true success was as much about overcoming internal prejudices as it was about defying external expectations. And amid spreadsheets, strategy sessions, and whispered rumors, a subtle yet profound connection took root, hinting at the possibility that sometimes the most unanticipated paths lead to the most transformative journeys. One cool evening, after another exhausting day of board meetings and looming deadlines, Tessa found herself yearning for solace, away from the pressures of corporate life. Encouraged by Dorian's gentle nudges and the promise of genuine connection, she agreed to meet for coffee at a cozy, dimly lit cafe on the corner of a rain-soaked street. Outside, droplets danced on pavement and blurred neon signs, setting a mood that was equal parts melancholy and magical. As Tessa settled into a quiet booth with a steaming cup of tea, Dorian soon joined her. The initial formality dissolved as they began sharing the small, intricate details of their lives. Dorian recounted childhood dreams and the sacrifices required to steer a company through stormy markets, while Tessa opened up about her humble beginnings and the quiet determination that drove her to redefine her future. Their conversation flowed like the gentle patter of rain outside, each word softening the barriers they had built around their hearts. In that vulnerable moment, both realized how the past and present intertwined in ways neither could predict. Laughter punctuated confessions of secret fears and long-held hopes, and as the evening deepened, a spark grew between them, a promise of understanding and shared strength. The soft murmur of the rain, the flickering candle on the table, and the sincere look in Dorian's eyes all converged into a moment of intimacy that transcended the ordinary. Before parting ways, the two lingered outside under an umbrella. With the rain as their silent witness, Dorian leaned in, and in a moment that felt both inevitable and transformative, they shared a gentle kiss. It was a kiss that spoke of uncharted possibilities, an unspoken agreement to explore the depths of connection despite the uncertainties that lay ahead. In the months that followed, Tessa and Dorian's connection blossomed into a secret romance, one that defied the rigid decorum of the corporate world while igniting stolen moments of pure, unfiltered emotion. Between back-to-back meetings and high-pressure deadlines, they found solace in clandestine rendezvous. Their encounters were like an intricate dance, each step measured and cautious, yet filled with the exuberance of forbidden passion. Late-night sessions in the quiet corners of the office turned into impromptu meetings in dimly lit cafes and rain-soaked sidewalks. Every stolen glance and whispered word deepened their connection, transforming fleeting moments into cherished memories. One stormy evening, as rain cascaded down in shimmering sheets, Dorian and Tessa found themselves sharing an umbrella on a deserted street. The downpour seemed to wash away the weight of expectations, leaving only the raw truth of their emotions in its wake. Under that watery veil, Dorian's guarded professionalism melted into heartfelt sincerity. "I've never felt so alive," he admitted softly, his voice trembling with both passion and uncertainty. Tessa, equally vulnerable, revealed the fears that had kept her from fully embracing love. In that intimate pause, the world around them faded, leaving only the sound of rain and the gentle beating of two hearts in unison. The risks were palpable: office whispers and the potential fallout from mixing business with personal affairs. But in that moment, those concerns felt insignificant compared to the promise of something real. Their secret romance, though shadowed by the risk of discovery, blossomed as a testament to the human capacity for love, hope, and the courage to follow one's heart, even when the odds were stacked high. In the sterile confines of a boardroom, where ambitions and loyalties collided, Tessa's carefully rebuilt world began to crumble. Just as she was learning to trust the man who had once swept into her life unexpectedly, whispers of a painful past resurfaced. An anonymous email arrived one dreary afternoon, a dossier brimming with damning documents and unsettling claims. The sender, Celeste Marlowe, Dorian's former fiancée, reveled in exposing alleged scandals and exploiting vulnerabilities of past employees. As Tessa pored over the documents, her heart sank with every inked accusation. The files suggested that ideas she had passionately nurtured were subtly appropriated, raising painful doubts about Dorian's integrity. The betrayal was more than a professional setback. It struck at the core of her trust and the fragile foundation of their secret romance. The revelations echoed with the sting of broken promises and unspoken truths, leaving Tessa reeling in disbelief. Unable to reconcile the man she had grown to admire with the implications of the documents, Tessa made the heart-wrenching decision to resign. The corridors of Evercrest Solutions, once filled with potential and hope, became a battleground of trust and betrayal. Leaving behind her burgeoning career, she sought refuge in Boston, a city promising a fresh start, yet tinged with the bitterness of loss. In the solitude of her new life, amidst quiet apartment rooms and long reflective walks along city streets, Tessa discovered she was pregnant. The unexpected news added a complex layer to her emotional turmoil, forcing her to confront a future she had never envisioned, a future where love, betrayal, and the responsibility of new life intermingled in a delicate, uncertain dance. In the wake of her painful departure from Evercrest Solutions, Tessa resolved to reclaim her destiny. Determined not to be defined by betrayal, she transformed her shattered dreams into a catalyst for reinvention. With relentless drive and quiet determination, Tessa founded Monroe Media, a digital agency that embodied her creative spirit and the promise of fresh beginnings. Balancing board meetings with midnight brainstorming sessions, she embraced the challenges of entrepreneurship while nurturing her newfound role as a single mother to little Aurora. Every day brought a mixture of triumphs and trials. As Tessa built her business from the ground up, her small apartment in Boston filled with the laughter and curiosity of her daughter, a living reminder of both hope and responsibility. Yet, just as she began to settle into her dual roles as visionary and mother, a familiar face re-emerged from the past. A company newsletter, rediscovered online, featured a candid photo of a smiling child beside Dorian Hayes, a child who bore an uncanny resemblance to both the man and the secrets he carried. Stunned and conflicted, Dorian immediately demanded a meeting. In a modest cafe away from prying eyes, the air was thick with tension as both confronted the reality of their intertwined lives. Dorian's pleas, laced with regret and determination, clashed with Tessa's guarded resolve. The meeting quickly evolved into a battlefield of legal threats, emotional outbursts, and raw admissions. Each word exchanged forced Tessa to face the possibility of co-parenting, a future neither had fully anticipated. The encounter left them both trembling on the edge of reconciliation and resentment, caught between the promise of redemption and the haunting specter of betrayal. On a cool autumn afternoon, fate conspired to reunite Tessa and Dorian in a setting that was as unexpectedly serene as it was charged with emotion. In a quiet park away from the ceaseless hum of office life, they sat on an old wooden bench beneath trees whose amber leaves whispered secrets of change. As they talked in tentative, measured tones, the sight of little Aurora, laughing as she played nearby, struck a deep chord in both hearts. The child's bright eyes and gentle smile mirrored Dorian's own features, stirring in them a mix of guilt, hope, and unspoken longing. Yet, just as a tender reunion began to mend old wounds, an ominous envelope arrived for Tessa. Inside lay meticulously doctored documents, evidence designed to ruin her career and threaten her hard-fought custody of Aurora. The malicious paper trail, expertly crafted by Celeste Marlowe, sought to recast Tessa as the villain in a narrative of deceit and betrayal. Determined to challenge these falsehoods, Dorian organized another meeting, this time with steely resolve and unwavering clarity. In a dramatic confrontation, charged with raw emotion, he exposed the manipulations behind Celeste's schemes. With compelling evidence and heartfelt testimonies, Dorian dismantled the web of lies that had threatened their fragile future. In that charged moment, the echoes of past hurt gave way to a shared understanding that their future, however uncertain, was worth fighting for. Together, they began to see that the path to healing might lie in embracing both the pain and the hope that intertwined their destinies. In the aftermath of the explosive revelations, a tentative peace began to emerge. With Celeste Marlowe's web of deceit exposed, Tessa and Dorian found themselves at a crossroads, a fragile moment when the desire to heal outweighed lingering wounds. It was during this delicate phase that scheduled, supervised visits between Dorian and little Aurora offered a glimmer of hope. These visits, held at a local community center, were filled with simple, heartfelt moments, a shared storybook, a gentle game of catch, and soft laughter that bridged the gap between two lives once separated by mistrust. For Tessa, watching Dorian interact with Aurora was a revelation. Every genuine smile, every patient explanation, chipped away at the defenses she had so carefully built around her heart. The meticulous planning of legal meetings and carefully worded emails gave way to impromptu moments of tenderness that spoke louder than any formal declaration. Meanwhile, Dorian tirelessly worked to gather irrefutable proof of Celeste's falsifications, a collection of documents and testimonies that, piece by piece, reconstructed the truth. As the evidence mounted, Dorian's determination to protect this newfound family grew ever stronger. His heartfelt efforts gradually reassured Tessa, who began to see that beneath the scars of past betrayals lay the potential for a future filled with mutual care and understanding. In the soft unfolding of these days, as scheduled visits slowly transformed into spontaneous reunions, the foundation for trust was rebuilt. Together, they set their sights on a common goal: to shield Aurora from the fallout of external intrigues and nurture the delicate bond that had begun to mend their broken hearts. The annual charity gala was set in a grand ballroom where crystal chandeliers hung like silent sentinels, and the hum of refined conversation filled the air. Tessa, now a respected entrepreneur with Monroe Media, attended with cautious optimism despite lingering shadows of her past. Amid the glittering elegance, Celeste Marlowe struck again, this time attempting to unleash a fresh wave of scandal by presenting forged documents intended to tarnish Tessa's reputation. Before the shock could settle into dismay, Dorian Hayes stepped forward with unwavering conviction. In a commanding, impassioned speech, he laid bare the intricacies of Celeste's deceit to an audience that had long been divided by rumors and half-truths. His words, sincere and powerful, turned murmurs of suspicion into resounding applause for truth and integrity. In that public moment of vindication, Dorian not only defended Tessa, but reaffirmed his own commitment to honesty. Later, in a quiet corner away from the celebratory clamor, Tessa and Dorian found solace in each other's presence. Embraced by the warm glow of flickering candlelight, they shared a silent understanding, a promise to rebuild their lives on the bedrock of trust and shared responsibility. Tessa's guarded heart, touched by Dorian's courageous act, began to thaw. Together, they vowed to co-parent Aurora with renewed dedication, turning a once tumultuous chapter into the foundation for a brighter future. In the echo of that transformative night, their bond was cemented not just by words, but by the palpable force of redemption and hope. As early spring unfurled its blossoms, Tessa and Dorian embarked on the journey of healing, together. Dorian's efforts to bond with Aurora blossomed into quiet rituals that redefined family life. He read bedtime stories, shared gentle laughter during impromptu afternoon games, and slowly became the steady presence Aurora needed. Every shared moment mended tiny fissures in a heart long guarded against hurt. One soft evening, under a vault of twinkling stars, Tessa revealed a truth that would redefine their future. She was expecting again. The news, spoken in hushed tones over a late-night walk, stirred a mixture of joy and apprehension. For Tessa, this second pregnancy was both a promise of new beginnings and a reminder of past trials, a tangible sign that life, in its unpredictable beauty, always moved forward. Dorian, moved by her confession, pledged to embrace not only the love he felt for Tessa, but also the expanding family that lay ahead. Their daily lives began to harmonize in a delicate blend of personal and professional triumphs. Moonlit walks, shared meals, and quiet, heartfelt conversations became the backdrop of their healing process. In each soft smile and every tender touch, the scars of old betrayals were gradually replaced by the soothing balm of hope and commitment. Together, they learned that healing was not a single moment, but a series of gentle steps, each one a promise to nurture love, trust, and the delicate art of building a future that celebrated every facet of life. Under a canopy of blooming cherry blossoms, in a serene Boston garden, Tessa and Dorian stood hand in hand, ready to unite their lives in a ceremony that felt both timeless and uniquely their own. The wedding was a celebration of resilience, forgiveness, and the promise of fresh beginnings. Aurora, with her radiant smile and twinkling eyes, played the role of flower girl, scattering petals along the pathway as if heralding the arrival of a bright future. Every detail of the day held intimate significance. Amid elegant decor and soft, lilting melodies, a humble relic was unveiled, a small stapler from that chaotic first day, now playfully adorned with a ribbon. This unlikely memento served as a humorous reminder of how an accidental encounter had set in motion a journey neither could have foreseen. In a tender moment during the ceremony, Tessa, with both pride and vulnerability, announced her pregnancy to the gathered friends and family. The news not only symbolized the continuation of their love story, but also marked the birth of a future built on shared dreams and new hope. As vows were exchanged and promises softly spoken under the gentle gaze of loved ones, Tessa and Dorian embraced the future with open hearts. Their wedding was more than a union. It was a declaration that every misstep, every challenge, had led them to this moment of profound unity and endless possibility. In the gentle cadence of everyday life, Tessa and Dorian immersed themselves in the joyous chaos of family and ambition. With Aurora growing into a spirited, kind-hearted child and the arrival of their son, Milo, their home overflowed with laughter, playful debates, and the kind of small miracles that make every day extraordinary. Mornings were a whirlwind of breakfast chatter and hurried goodbyes, while evenings brought tender moments of shared stories, homework, and bedtime kisses. At work, Tessa's Monroe Media flourished alongside Dorian's steadfast leadership, a testament to their ability to balance the intensity of professional ambition with the warmth of family life. Colleagues often recalled the story's humble origins, how a stray stapler had inadvertently sparked a love story that defied the odds. That cherished relic had become a humorous emblem in the office, a symbol of serendipity and second chances that lightened even the busiest days. Aurora's school essay, written with the unfiltered imagination of childhood, recounted her parents' unlikely meeting in a way that touched everyone who read it. In its whimsical tone and heartfelt honesty, the essay immortalized a journey of resilience, laughter, and unwavering hope. In every shared smile, every quiet victory over adversity, Tessa and Dorian built a legacy defined not by grand gestures alone, but by the enduring beauty of everyday love, a love that would guide their family through all the seasons of life.